Some Las Vegas real estate agents are using a number of loopholes to boost their pay and skirt recent court settlement that was intended to reduce commission rates, according to multiple agents who spoke to Las Vegas Review-Journal on condition of anonymity. And by the way, you can share those names with me later.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Patrick, I want to talk about one of the articles you wrote last week. Actually, I think it was earlier this week, and I know that you've gotten some feedback on this one. I heard the headline of this article is Las Vegas real estate agents using loopholes to charge higher commissions, and you wrote this. Actually, yeah, you wrote this just this week. So, and then I'm going to read from the article, and then we'll talk about it a little bit about it. But it says that some Las Vegas real estate agents are using a number of loopholes to boost their pay and skirt recent court settlement that was intended to reduce commission rates, according to multiple agents who spoke to Las Vegas Review-Journal on condition of anonymity. And by the way, you can share those names with me later. I know you would never do that. The revelation comes on the heels of a recent study from Clever Real Estate that showed real estate agent commissions are up 0.12% since 2024, averaging 5.44%. The study, which surveyed more than 800 agents across the country from April, found the average commission in Nevada is 5.6%, up also. I don't know if that's a misprint, up from 3.5. So that's kind of a weird number. But
3.5 to 5.6.
I don't believe it was ever that low, unless you're talking about a side versus both sides. I don't know, because it was never that. I don't think it was ever that low. But
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, it could be. Anyway, in the settlement, NAR agreed to two big changes. Here's the thing that's most important. And these are the results of the changes in the commission structure. What changed was the administration, how we administer commissions. And the objective was to create more transparency. And so first, the seller's agents can no longer advertise commission fees to buyer's agents via multiple listing service, where the majority of listing homes are listed. And honestly, that's where we sell most of our homes, is through multiple lists. That marketing is so important to us. Second, potential buyers must sign a contract with real estate agent up front before being shown homes. I got to tell you, I've been a realtor, it'll be 25 years. When I first joined, we were encouraged to do what's called a buyer-broker agreement from day one. 25 years ago, they were encouraging us to make sure you put your buyers on a contract before you show them property, so that there's clarity, and so you don't get hurt later on because they went with another agent or they did this or that or whatever happened.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, in my 24 years prior to this year, I never did it, because I always felt like my clients, hopefully they trust me, they want to work with me. I don't need to put them on a contract. I'm going to show them houses. When we write the contract, I'll get my commission from the seller as practice. What the change did for me was, now I have to put them on a contract. Some buyers, particularly the ones I worked with for years, are resistant. Like, really, Harv? I got to? Yeah, that's the rules. That's the way the rules work.
Yeah.
So now I'm negotiating with my buyer in advance of showing them property what my commission is going to be. And I can adjust it down if the commission comes in lower, if someone's offering compensation from the other side or whatever, but I can't go up. I can never go up. So if I write an agreement with my buyer and say, okay, I want 3%, or I want 5%, or I want 12%. I don't want to think that there's any kind of number out there. If I want a certain percent, and in the course of negotiating a deal, the seller's willing to contribute 0.5% less. I can decide that that's okay or not. I have a contract with my buyer. If they say they're going to offer less, then my buyer has to come up with a difference, unless I decide to reduce, which I could do. And some agents will, and some agents won't. And that discussion is probably something you should have with your agent when you're signing that contract. Discuss that. But the point is now that the buyer's agent's commission is not determined any longer by the seller and the listing agent, where it was before. Because when they would talk to a seller, hey, I want this much percent, and I'm going to be sharing with the buyer, I'm going to be giving them this much.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't happen. Now when I sit down with the seller, I'm only talking about what they're paying me. And when I negotiate my contract, it's just with me as the listing agent. Now, I'm going to show them, because I want to show them all the costs involved with selling a home. I'm going to show them it's likely you're going to have to help a buyer pay their agent. And here's a number that you might think about as part of the closing costs. That's part of it. Because even lenders still consider the buyer's agent commission a seller expense. When we divvy up the expenses in a transaction, lenders believe that the buyer's agent commission is still on the seller side of that ledger, which is why when they say buyer's closing costs, they don't count that. The seller could come up with 3% towards buyer's closing costs and still pay another many percent and cover the cost of the agent.
Sure. Yeah.
That's where we are today.
Yeah.
That's why the number went up, I think, because now I'm negotiating with my buyer directly for a number, and I'm negotiating directly with my seller just for me, not for both sides.
Yeah.
And when I was negotiating for both sides, I could offer the seller a discount on the other guy's side.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
Well, one of the realtors that I spoke to, I don't know if you scroll down there, he talks about the fact that, where is it? Yeah, this paragraph right here, if you want to read that.
Yeah, one agent spoke to the Review Journal and said the rise in commission could be attributed to the squeeze real estate market where sellers are pressed to get any type of buyer to offer a product. Given the Valley's high number of listings and low number of sales, yeah, I think that market conditions do drive commission rates to a certain extent.
Sure. Yeah, it's important to take that into context as well. But I mean, it's obviously the overall context of this is that the Department of Justice has long had it out for the real estate industry.
Yes.
And this lawsuit is something that they've been paying very, very close attention to.
Yeah.
And this has gone through multiple administrations. Trump, I believe it started in Biden, or maybe it even started in Obama.
It did. It started in Obama.
Obama.
Yep.
So this is essentially, a lot more is going to play out on this, because I feel as if this NAR settlement does not appease the DOJ.
Right.
They're going to come back and they're going to come in and say, we're going to change this hard, and then it'll be a really big shock to the industry. So I don't know. Yeah,
I think that I think that there's a thing. There's moral dilemmas for agents, particularly buyers agents. When I write an offer now for my buyer, I'm including asking the seller to pay to credit my buyer with my cost, because that's how the price structure is built in. We talked about the idea that the median price is still where it is because sellers are contributing. Well, part of that structure is because the sellers have always paid the buyer's agent. If you take that out of the equation, that number's the buyer's going to say, well, yeah, if you're not going to pay my agent, then knock 3 or 4 or 5% off my price.
Yeah,
because that's what it should be. The overall impact is that, according to the study, commissions have actually gone up a little bit, overall, which, again, from my perspective, doesn't surprise me, because now agents are negotiating directly with their client, be they buyer or seller. And truthfully, what's happened also, I have to be honest about this, from a seller's perspective, when we used to go to them and say, hey, I want 5 or 6 or 7%, now I'm going up to them saying I only want 2.5%, 3 or 4%. And they're like, yeah, where do I sign?
Yeah.
Because they think the numbers, it's not lower, guys. I hate to say it, it's just not, and it's not self-serving for me to say that, obviously, but that's the way it is. For those of us who have been doing this a long time, I think that experience deserves more money, just like an attorney.
Yeah.
You want a quality attorney, they should be paid a little bit more. You want a discount, you're going to get discount. That's fine. You can do that. Same thing with commissions, but representing buyers is more of a challenge now, because now we're negotiating our commissions within the deal, and it becomes part of the cost structure of the deal, and it's negotiable.